I was born with a rare eye condition, retinitis pigmentosa. I cannot see you. I went totally blind when I was 19 years old. Can you tell me, is this a good-looking audience? Yes, yes, very good. Statistics say that 2/3 of people are good-looking, 2/3. So if you look to your left and you look to your right, now if they were good-looking, this will conclude the statistical portion of my presentations. My intention today is to share some ideas and some concepts and some strategies that have helped me overcome some obstacles, and I hope it will be able to help you in helping others. The three things I want to share with you, I want to put a handle on so you can take them out there where you go, live, work, and play is one, thinkability, focus on ability. We know that success is no hocus pocus, it's focus, focus. We know that we become what we think about most of the time. Number two is surround ourselves with people who believe in us. Surround ourselves with people who believe in us. And number three, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Some of my earliest memories growing up as a child, I remember being on the playground and hearing, the last one on the slide is a rotten egg. The last one on the swings is a rotten egg. The last one on the fill in the blank is a rotten egg. And I was always the rotten egg, and it didn't feel good. I was always the rotten egg because I couldn't run fast because I couldn't see where to go. And I know it didn't feel good. And so tonight I want to share with you some ideas and some strategies that have helped me overcome the challenge of blindness, and I hope will help you with whatever challenges that you're facing today. Be a great student, my friends. Be a great student. Take great notes. You can't just think it. You've got to ink it. You've got to write things down. Statistics say that we only remember 7% of what we hear 24 hours later, so we have to write things down. Don't just think it. You've got to ink it. William James, the father of psychology, said nothing is more mentally fatiguing than holding on to the uncompleted task. Write things down. Leonardo da Vinci said a bunch of drops of ink will really help us think. I'm a Braille reader, and I believe that a bunch of little dots helps me remember lots. I love sharing stories. I love sharing stories. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to share some stories and strategies with you. And what are stories? Stories are something told in the present about the past that I believe will help in the future. A story is something told in the present about the past that'll help in the future. I grew up in a wonderful small town of Belleville, New Jersey, not far from New York City. My mother and father, Joan and Dante DeNotaris, they didn't have any advanced degrees in education, training, rehabilitation, but they were possibility thinkers. They helped us believe that we could be successful. They surrounded us with people who believed in us, and they also let us know that it was okay to fail. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and my dad, he was the health inspector in a small town, Montclair, New Jersey. When my parents knew that I had something wrong with my eyes, they took me to many different doctors, many different specialists. And I remember sitting on my mom's lap one day at one of the doctor's offices, and the doctor said, Mr. and Mrs. DeNotaris, after running a series of tests on your son David, we've determined he has an eye condition, retinitis pigmentosa. He's never going to lead a normal life or get a job or compete in sports. He's going to be a burden on you. You should consider putting him in some type of special school or maybe institution. I think looking back on it, they did put me in an institution, and my therapist will be here later today to, no. I remember my dad rifling questions to the doctor. What about glasses? What about surgery? What about contacts? There's got to be something that you can do. And the doctor interrupted my dad and said, Mr. DeNotaris, there's nothing you or anyone else can do. Your son is going to go blind. I remember the car ride home. There was silence in the car. I was in the back seat. My mom was in the passenger seat, and Dad was driving. I remember I was able to hear the tears in my mother's voice. Dante, what are we going to do now? The doctor said David's never going to lead a normal life. And my father said, Joan, we're not going to listen to those experts. We're going to find the experts to help our son lead a normal life. And that was a green light for me. My father, he believed in me. I love sharing this story, and I've shared this story so many different places. My father, he called me on the phone one day. I was 8 years old. He said, David, when I come home from work today, I'm going to teach you how to play catch. I knew I couldn't see a baseball or a football or a basketball, but my father, like great leaders, coaches, mentors, teachers, role models, he knew that you focus on ability. You focus on what people can do, not what they can't do. That day, that afternoon, I was worried. I was worried, though. I was worried I was going to get hurt. I was worried I was going to let him down. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to play. Worry is simply negative meditation. I was so worried. But my father, he was a possibility thinker. That day, he came home from work with a giant beach ball. I remember it was so big I couldn't even get my arms around it. My father knew that all I could see is contrast, light on dark and dark on light. He took me in the backyard and he'd hit this giant beach ball up in the air. And I was able to see the red and the yellow and the blue and the green against the light blue sky. And I was able to reach up and catch the ball. And my father said, David, you stop right there. I'm not teaching you how to play catch. I'm teaching you that you could do whatever you want. You've just got to spend your time figuring out how. I was very fortunate to have wonderful teachers, mentors, coaches, coaches and role models. One of them that comes to mind is Mrs. Genevieve Petrillo. She was my 4th grade teacher. I loved school. School was something I enjoyed doing. I had my books in Braille. I could read history and my spelling words in Braille. I could fit in and not sit out. But I didn't like gym class. I didn't like phys ed. I had to sit on the side. Now, we didn't have any big green grassy fields. We had a blacktop with yellow painted bases on the blacktop. During gym class one day, Miss Petrillo said, "David, I have an idea. We're playing softball today. I'm going to take this softball and I'm going to bounce it up. You'll hear it bounce 1, 2, 3. The 3rd time, you can hit it." I was able to fit in and not sit out. I was able to play. Miss Petrillo, before we'd start playing, would say, "Everyone, be quiet. David, keep your ear on the ball." I was able to fit in and not sit out. 30 years later, Miss Petrillo published a book with Toll House Publishing Group's Keep Your Ear on the Ball, a childhood book. Keep your ear on the ball, keep your eyes on the prize. I graduated from Belleville High School, Belleville, New Jersey, and then it went on to East Stroudsburg University here in Pennsylvania, where I earned a degree in communications and marketing. I recall going to a conference just like this one day, and there was a speaker. His name was Dr. Kenneth Jernigan. He was an amazing man. He was totally blind. He spoke all over the country. And he said this, and these words have echoed in my heart, my soul, and my mind for years. He said it's respectable to be blind. After the conference, I went up to him. I stayed in line for 30 minutes to shake his hand. And I said, "Dr. Jernigan, my name is David DeNotaris, and I enjoyed listening to you speak today. You really encouraged me." And he said, "Young man, you've got what it takes." Dr. Jernigan taught me that blindness was going to make me bitter or better, and I better pick the right one. What do you believe about the challenges you're facing? Are they making you bitter or are they making you better? Make sure you pick the right one. In 1992, I graduated from East Stroudsburg University and I moved home. My mom had moved from Belleville, New Jersey to Verona, New Jersey. My dad had passed away 7 years prior in 1985 from a brain tumor. So I had moved home and I got a job. And a friend of mine from high school called me up. He said, "Dave, hey, would you like to get an apartment?" I said, "Well, yeah, I'd love to get an apartment. I'd love to, live out on my own." So we looked at some different apartments. We looked in Hoboken, and we looked in Jersey City, and we looked in Montclair. Hoboken was too expensive. Jersey City was too busy. Montclair was a really nice town. So we got an apartment in Montclair. I really liked living there. But after a few months, I noticed that I was a prisoner in my own apartment. I would never leave. I would never leave the apartment myself. I would never leave the apartment unless I was with someone that can see. Why was that? Because I wouldn't use a cane. I was so afraid to use a white cane. Why was that? I thought I was going to be a target of sympathy and pity. I thought I was going to be a target for crime. I thought I'd be ridiculed, made fun of. Boy, was I mistaken. But after a few months of being frustrated, being a prisoner in my own house, I said, "You know what? I'm going to open up this cane. I just want to walk to the corner. I just want to walk to the corner." I opened up my cane, and what did I encounter? I encountered some broken sidewalks. I encountered some cars sticking out of the driveway. I encountered some broken sidewalks from the big oak trees breaking up the sidewalks. But I finally I got to the corner, and I was just about to turn around and go home. But I said, "You know what? I'm not going to go home. I think that down the block, I know that there's a little row of stores. I want to see if I could find those stores. I need a haircut. I want to see if I could find the barber shop." I remember when I was walking around with my roommate at the time, Vince, and my girlfriend at the time, Mary Ann, that there was a bunch of stores. I knew that there was an Italian there was a delicatessen, there was a pizza place, there was a dry cleaners, there was a suit makers, there was a gas station, there was a fabric store, there was a jewelry store. Mary Ann was always telling me about the jewelry store. And so I said, "I'm going to see if I could find that barber shop." So I continued to walk, and I encountered more broken sidewalks, more cars sticking out of the driveway, so I had to go out into the street and back up on the sidewalk. I continued to encounter garbage cans. All the days I had to go for a walk, I had to be garbage day. My friends, in life, we're going to encounter obstacles. There's going to be obstacles. Some are going to be real and some are going to be perceived, but you can't let the obstacles stop you. You've got to go around them, through them. You can't let them stop them. You can't let them stop you from becoming the person that you want to be. So finally, I got to a little row of stores, but I didn't know where the barber shop was, but I knew I was outside the stores. So I was just waiting. I was just waiting to see if I heard someone. So finally I heard one of the doors open. I heard the bells on the doors open, and I said, "Excuse me, can you tell me where the barber shop is?" And the man said, "Sure, son, it's a few stores down." So I continued to walk, and the door was open. So I stood, and I heard a buzzing sound. Zzz. So I knew I was in the right place. So I was like, "Oh, this is great." So then I was standing in the doorway, and the barber said, "Son, you want your haircut?" I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Sit down. When you're done, when I'm done with this man, you're next. So I collapsed my cane. And I was sitting there. And you know what happened as I was sitting there? I started to worry. What was I worried about? I was worried about I wasn't going to be able to make it home. I was worried about I was going to get lost. I was worried about what was going to happen? What was the 5 words that have stopped more people, more dreams, more possibilities. What will other people say and what will other people think? What will other people say and what will other people think? And I was worried. Well, I'm a firm believer in the law of inertia. Things in motion stay in motion, and things at rest stay at rest unless acted upon by a greater force. So when I was moving, I was okay, and when I wasn't moving, I started to worry. So finally, it was my turn. The man said, "Son, you're next." So I stood up, and he helped me find the back of the chair, and he put my hand on the back of the chair, and then he put the smock over me, and he started cutting my hair. I think it's important to tell you that he didn't ask me how I wanted my hair cut. He figured I didn't know or wouldn't matter, but I don't know. Maybe my therapist will cover that one too. And so I said, well, my name is David, and I have an eye condition, retinitis pigmentosa. I was diagnosed with it when I was 4 years old, and it caused me to go totally blind when I was 19 years old, when I was a sophomore at East Stroudsburg University. He said, "That's nice." I said, "That's nice? I guess it's nice, I guess." And he continued to cut my hair, and he said, "What's your name?" And I said, David DeNotaris. And he stopped cutting my hair, and he spun the chair around, and he said to me, "Dante was your father." And I said, "You knew my father?" He said, "Son, I cut your dad's hair for 30 years. I cut your dad's hair when he was dying in the hospital, and he told me he had a blind son, and boy, was he proud of you." I said, "My dad told you about me?" Son, he told me that you had a big heart, and you wouldn't give up. And I was floored. And after I was done, I went to grab my wallet, and he said, "No, that one's on your dad. That was on your dad." And I left that barber shop that day, and I was walking home, and I had so many different emotions. I was glad that I met this man who knew my dad, and that he told me about my dad. But then I was so angry. What was I angry about? All the other places I didn't go, and all the other people I didn't meet, and all the other experiences I didn't enjoy because I was so afraid to face my fears. And then once I was able to open up this cane and face my fears, I was able to tap my potential and to travel independently and to go places and do things and become the person I desire to be. Don't be afraid. In recap, 3 things. Thinkability. Surround yourselves with people who will believe in you. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to succeed. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to try things. Because if we are going to help people fit in, not sit out, we are going to have to help ourselves to be the best that we can be so we can help everyone around us be the best that they can be. So please remember, thinkability. Surround yourselves with people who believe in you. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. My name is David DeNotaris. It's a privilege to be here with you today. Good luck. Thank you very much. God bless you all.